Are you having a nice time?
Yeah.
Do you love Timothy Draper?
TechBBQ, baby.
Welcome, Tim. How's your time?
Oh, I'm loving it here. This is, I love entrepreneurs, and I love regions that are just spurting out entrepreneurs. And this is the beginning, I think, of something extraordinary because they have all seen the 10 unicorns that have popped up here from Denmark, and so have I. And I realize this is an extraordinary place to be. And it's really interesting. Denmark has all of these constraints around it. Some of the rules and regulations, and people are kind of on a very sharp line here. But there's another part of them where I find they want to make the world better, and that is sort of a beautiful thing. And I think entrepreneurship is going to thrive because they've seen these 10 unicorns. People next to them have made a bunch of money, and they go, he made a bunch of money. I know he wasn't that bright, but he made a bunch of money.
Absolutely.
And so I think people will understand that entrepreneurship is really the best way to make the world a better place.
Your connection with Scandinavia was Skype, right? Was that the first time?
Yeah, we were lucky. Our first investment in any Scandinavian country was Skype.
Yeah. And
that was fantastic. Nicholas Zenstrom sort of blew me away as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And then it was started as Skyper, which was going to be a shared Wi-Fi thing. And then he called me back and he said, "We got this other idea. Can we still take your money?"
And it carried on.
And the other idea turned out to be a pretty big one. So, yeah.
I thought I might turn it a little bit on its head, right? You're amazing. You've invested in all these companies. Tim Draper, hallelujah. I'm sure you get this shit all the time. But
No, I can never get it enough.
You can never get enough.
Yeah.
But we know we'll go into crypto later, but what sector in your career do you think you missed out on? Did you ever have an area that you thought, I wish I'd done that, and you didn't?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but people have asked this question, what are your biggest failures? My biggest failures were failures to act. I can blame my partners for a few of them, but I actually have to take responsibility for not understanding that Netflix was going to be a really big thing, because it was a guy a wonderful guy, Reed Hastings, who came to me and he said, we're gonna ship out DVDs by the U.S. mail. And I said, wait, in 2 years, we're all going to be streaming. Why would you ever do this? And he said, they're not ready for that yet. And I thought,
really?
I don't know. But boy, he was right and I was wrong.
Do you remember Love Film?
And so that was my mistake. Google, I was going to fund Google, but my partners said, we already have 6 search engines in our portfolio, Draper. Why do we need another one?
No,
so my biggest failures were failures to really push it through and act.
Do you think, I know this sounds a bit cliche, but obviously you've learned from those failures. Are you still making failures to act now?
I hope so.
You do.
In our school, Draper University of Heroes,
right,
has a slogan or a credo that we live by. And it starts with, I will promote freedom at all costs, and then it's all about trust. And then it says, I will fail and fail again until I succeed. And that's kind of our message to entrepreneurs. You have to keep trying. You have to keep trying new things and working new angles and whatever it takes to get your business going so that you can achieve the vision that you have.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a co-founder of Sienna Network, which is a privacy.
So I have to live by my own credo.
No, absolutely.
So I'm worrying. I worry if I don't fail enough.
Yeah, okay.
Am I pushing the edge enough?
Yeah. All
to
right.
move progress along
Yeah.
far enough.
So with our startup Sienna Network, we're obviously in a crypto winter, and I don't think we've been failing at Sienna Network, but we've been learning as we go. And I get the feeling that you never get to a point where you know it all, right?
Or I don't what?
You never get to a point where you know it all, that you
Oh,
understand the whole
no,
thing.
because the world keeps coming and the world keeps changing. And the crypto winter, I mean, people have blamed me for the crypto winter because during the summer I wasn't wearing my Bitcoin tie. But today I'm wearing my Bitcoin tie. Time for it to come back. And on the backside it says freedom and trust, which basically means this decentralized world generates more freedom and more trust amongst people, and everybody benefits from freedom and trust.
Do you think one of the things with someone that is as seasoned as you are, maybe a little bit more seasoned than I am, you know
I
what
think
I mean?
so,
But
yeah.
we are of, not teenagers. And you've obviously done these amazing things. So I would ask you, what is your legacy going to be? Because I would imagine it might be a bit irritating at the moment to be known as the Bitcoin guy, because that's how a lot of people, especially in the crypto community, think, oh, Tim Draper is a great evangelist. It's great to have him on our side. But do you want to be known as that? So what's your legacy going to be? You're going to have foundations? You're going to save the planet? What are you going to? Because you should save the planet.
Well, I have 4 children. 3 of them have become venture capitalists, so there's some legacy there. And that means that we've got 4 generations of venture capitals in our family.
Your dad was one, right?
My dad was one. My grandfather was the first Silicon Valley venture capitalist. And then my other daughter is an artist, so maybe there's some legacy there. I think freedom and trust are my legacy. I am pushing, wherever I go, I'm pushing governments to trust their citizens so that their citizens can be freer, so that they can go innovate and try new things and explore and create their own lives. And that, I think, is my next, like if I've had the first third exploring the venture world, second third nailing it.
Yeah.
If I go, I'm going to keep doing the venture business because it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
And whenever I make more money, I look at it as an opportunity to move it back out to the next generation of entrepreneurs. But then there is this, the countries that are free, they just outperform the ones that are not. And it's weird that a leader can have that great or bad an effect on its people. But I've traveled around enough to see that the lack of freedom has destroyed Cuba. It's destroyed North Korea. It destroyed China for many years, and then China opened up with its free government under Deng Xiaoping, and now it's being destroyed again by losing freedom where the government doesn't trust its people. You've got to have governments that trust the people to do the right thing. You know better than the government what you should do for a living, what you should do with your life, how you should spend your money, how you should raise your children. You know better than the government does about all those things. Government should trust you to know better.
You invested in Baidu, 2001, China, first VC in Silicon Valley, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 in China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 questions. Can you do that now? And would you do it in the present climate? Would you invest in Chinese companies?
Oh, no. We were the first Silicon Valley venture capitalists to go to China, and we were also the first ones to freeze investments into China. As soon as President Xi decided he was going to nationalize companies, he started fining some of our companies for no real reason. He started strong-arming some of our companies, he and his government. We pulled out.
Right.
And we're going to be out until they get a new leader.
When was that?
It was about a year into his realm that we recognized it.
All right. And he's there for life, right?
Well, as far as he knows.
One thing I don't particularly know that much about you, apart from the fact that I've been on loads of conferences where you've been on a Zoom call. So it's nice to know you actually exist. Do you know what I mean? But what I do know and like about you is that you're really, really proactive in meeting founders. And I wonder if that's a regular thing, because VCs, they should do that more, right?
You know, it's really interesting. This job has allowed me to learn at an extraordinary rate. And being a venture capitalist, you do have the opportunity to listen to people who are the foremost experts in their field or whatever, the foremost person for their direction. So it gives me a view to the future that I would never have gotten if I didn't interview the entrepreneurs. I get something out of reading, and I was a decent student. You know, I was a good student, I guess. But I learned so much faster by interviewing people. And so I do make the rounds. I go through Web Summit, and I make sure I hit almost every single booth. When I come here, I'm a little frustrated because I've had a busy schedule, and I don't think I've hit every booth.
Right.
And my thinking is not only do I learn a lot, but I also get a flavor for what might be coming down the pike.
So what is coming down the pipe?
So what comes down the pike is really determined by those entrepreneurs,
right.
Those people who are creating all those great businesses. And they visit me on a regular basis. I see 8 of them a day or something.
Right.
Here, I'm probably going to see 50, but typically, a typical day in the office, I'll meet 8 entrepreneurs. They give me a view for the future that I maybe didn't anticipate. So take my answer to your question with a grain of salt. But I am very excited about anything decentralized. I'm really excited about what the blockchain and Bitcoin have done to banking. The same thing can happen to insurance, to real estate, to governance. Governance can be decentralized. If you expand your mind a little, you can start thinking about most of governance is an insurance program, and it can be done in the cloud or 11 miles offshore or out in space or whatever. That's one area I think is fabulous. Another one is the digitization of medicine,
Yep.
both on the taking data and using AI to figure out what somebody has, and using AI to figure out how to solve their problems. So both in diagnostics and in therapeutics, computational biochemistry is going to make a big difference. And then the third area is totally opened up by Elon, which is space and transportation. Those 2 areas were stagnant for 50 years. And all of a sudden, we have major breakthroughs in both places. And so all sorts of new entrepreneurs are creating new businesses around space and transportation. And that's fun. So those are 3 areas. But tomorrow, somebody's going to come to me and they're going to say, I have telekinesis, or I can teleport to Mars. And then all of a sudden, my game changed dramatically, just like that.
Yeah. So you were speaking earlier. I listened to talk earlier, and you were saying that you're really interested in putting money into green companies, or we're in a nightmare scenario. One of the things that I didn't realise, that the Parisian Climate Accord doesn't involve military use. So we've seen what's been going on in Ukraine. That's not part of that accord.
Yeah, that is not helping.
I mean, excuse my language, Tim, but I think we're fucked already. Do you know what I mean? But you said that you were going to do something with the Vatican, which sounds to me weird.
It's a weird combination of people between, like, I'm weird, they're weird, whatever. We're coming together, seeing that all of these G20 countries and all the politicians are talk, and nothing's going to ever happen there. Yeah, they'll make promises, the next guy won't keep them, whatever. Entrepreneurs solve problems in big ways. And here I'm going to give you an interesting example of what's green, but wasn't intended to be green. And so we're going to be looking for second order effects when we interview these entrepreneurs. So anyway, the two of us did come together, and we are trying to put together a business plan competition, at least $10 million going into entrepreneurs for green, for saving the climate, all those great things. But let me give you kind of an example. We backed Hotmail. Hotmail is possibly the greenest company that's ever been on the earth. We don't kill any trees. You don't have to lick envelopes. It doesn't have to go into a car, into an airplane, into a car. And it all happens electronically and instantaneously, and it's better communication. That was a major breakthrough. Skype also, major breakthrough in communication. You don't have to always travel to wherever you're going. You can be there telepresently. Well, neither of those companies were funded for green reasons, but both of them became extraordinary ecological successes.
Is that what you're looking for? You're looking for accidental green?
You know, I kind of am, because the ones that are obvious, everyone can do. It's like, yeah, we're going to recycle, whatever. I don't know. I'm sorry if you're a recycling entrepreneur, whatever. If you're doing something that anyone can do, that's fine, great, build a business around it, but we're looking for something that's a little more extraordinary that might just change the revolution of the earth, or put some sort of a shadow on the earth for whenever it's noon.
Yeah.
Or do something that changes the temperature a little, or maybe just it's an outfit that makes it so it's easier for humans to live through this. Because who knows if it's going to go super hot and then all of a sudden it's going to go super cold. We've had multiple ice ages and multiple burn-ups in the last 10 million years, and we may be headed for one or the other now. But I think entrepreneurs will solve these problems. These problems will generally not be solved by politicians talk, unless those politicians set the entrepreneurs free to innovate, and trust the entrepreneurs to do the right thing.
But I have a slight issue with what you said about green and the Vatican. I mean, there's too many questions there anyway, right? Then you went on to talk about your advocacy of Bitcoin, which is not particularly green. So how can you kind of leverage those two? If you're making out that you're this green accidental VC, meets the founders, amazing guy, but then you love Bitcoin, which is pretty much the opposite.
It's a good point. But here's the situation. Now, Bitcoin is already out there. It is less bad on the environment than all those bankers are bad on the environment. All the banks, they generate a lot more energy than all the Bitcoin in the world. And the good thing about Bitcoin is now there are the L2s and there are the L3s, and they don't require a lot of energy to run. And so like OpenNode, they can run as many transactions a second as the Visa network on no energy, almost no energy. And that runs on top of Bitcoin. So, and then of course, over time, the Bitcoin miners have innovated so that we're having cheaper and better energy because they've innovated so much on the energy front.
But Bitcoin isn't Hotmail to trees, though, is it?
Bitcoin's
if you're saying that Hotmail was amazing, that you didn't have to cut down trees, envelopes, whatever, but Bitcoin's not really that compared to the financial system, is it? Is it? Do you think so?
I think so, because I think down the road, I would love to have a fund that was all raised in Bitcoin, invested completely into entrepreneurs in Bitcoin, and then they pay their employees and suppliers in Bitcoin, and the entire system, and the taxes are all paid in Bitcoin. The entire system is in a walled garden where all the accounting is done automatically on the blockchain. And so we don't need the auditor, the accountant, the bookkeeper, the transfer agent. All these people, the lawyer, all those people can go find more productive things to do because suddenly you've just got a better way to transact business. So actually, I do think it is comparable in how transformative it is for the economy, and it allows, if it allows all those people to free up, all those smart people to free up, one of those people might end up solving global warming.
Yeah, okay. But it's a bit utopian, mate, to be honest, to say that everyone's going to be paid in Bitcoin. That's obviously...
You know what's kind of cool about utopias? You start thinking about Star Trek, it's a utopia. But all of a sudden our engineers go, how would I do that? And then that utopia comes to pass.
Yeah.
So I encourage people to think utopian, because if you have that attitude, then you might end up coming up with some future that is really extraordinary that we can all aspire to get to.
So Musk is a utopian, right?
Oh, he's extraordinary in that way.
Yeah.
We're going to Mars, or we're going to save the Earth, one or the other.
No, absolutely.
So he looks at it as hedging, planet hedge. And when you say I'm going to Mars, a lot of people say that's utopian or it's crazy or it's whatever. But when Elon said we're going to Mars, he attracted the absolute best and brightest engineers from all walks of the world to help him get people onto Mars.
So 1960s NASA.
Yeah,
basically.
It was the same kind of thing where Kennedy says to the moon.
We go to the moon.
Yeah, it was that kind of a thing. He's really extraordinary.
Would you go into space?
Yeah, but I don't think I'd be first.
Okay, we're going to have to...
I do have plans to get to the moon.
Yeah, I would love to go to the moon.
I want to stand on the moon and see how it feels to dunk a basketball.
Can I give you an earthly experience of going to the moon? For me, utopia is going to watch Brentford FC play football. So next time you're in London, I'll take you to see Brentford.
Can you imagine what the field would look like with a... Oh, my God. That would be extraordinary.
You haven't seen anything until you've seen Brentford FC.
Hey, but then we start getting into the Harry Potter stuff where they've got the snitch and the
Quidditch.
It's a multi-dimensional sport, because if you can jump that high, then you're kicking the ball here and you're moving things there.
That sounds like Brentford FC.
This is going to be fun.
Amazing. Right, listen. Give us a couple more minutes, man. You know, one more minute. Okay, so we're going to have to give advice. Who's an entrepreneur out there? Hands up, please. So they're all fucking entrepreneurs.
Excellent.
Give them some advice before you leave the stage.
Okay. Send your business plan to tim@draper.vc. That's part one. Part two, if you are not sure you're really up to being an entrepreneur, apply to Draper University. We will make you into entrepreneurs. It's called Draper University of Heroes. And other than that, what I say to my students, and we all do it, we're all standing around a big swimming pool. And I'm giving this speech, and they're saying, and now I'm giving you the best advice I can to the entrepreneurs who are starting their businesses, and we're all standing there, and then I say, and I'm in my suit, and I say, just take the first step. And I go splash into the water. And if you take that first step as an entrepreneur, that you're one step further. And then the other thing is, tell everyone what you do. Don't worry, don't be covetous of your idea. Tell everyone, because it will improve with every brain it touches. So there's advice.
One giant leap for entrepreneur kind. Thank you very much.
That was really fun.
Well played.
That was a great interview.
Yeah, man. Thank you.